Hello and welcome to another NihongoGamer video. This is a bit of a random vlog, but I was in the middle of video editing a video for Pokemon Go, and I don't want to use the original Nintendo sound from Pokemon when it goes diddly 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 diddly, you know, when a Pokemon appears and you want to catch it. So I actually thought to myself, how can I actually make the sound if I don't want to use the original Nintendo sound? And I thought, I've got LSDJ on my Game Boy, why don't I just make this sound? And this is the stage I'm at the moment. You can hear what it sounds like if I just press this button. So that's the stage I'm at, and in a way it actually sounds a little bit too close to the original because I've got the diddle 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 in the morning in the top range, and then I've got another set of instruments going diddle 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 diddle, and that's how you make the original Pokemon sound. So if you're composing it, this is how it's done. I was analyzing it basically while listening to it. So I've got to have the diddly 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 and the also diddly 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 diddly, and you also have a third layer, but you can't really hear it because the bass is quite low. I might record this separately so you can hear it properly, but at the moment you can't hear it because this speaker's not quite good enough. There's actually a bass note going boop 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 boop. So I'm trying to get all three of these layers together, but I'm trying also to not get it too close because it should be kind of a parody. If it's not really a parody, then it's basically the same as the Nintendo creation, and then they could probably claim rights on that. So let's see what we can do about changing this sound so it doesn't sound exactly the same. Of course, it's a little bit difficult for you to see the actual screen. So just for reference, if you're ever interested in composing with a Game Boy, you've got to deal with screens that look like this. Basically a list of numbers, and if you just put the numbers in and the letter numbers, it's basically a very old-fashioned way of composing music. Last year, actually, I had a chance to have lunch, or was it dinner, I can't remember, with Manami Matsumae. She's the composer of the original Mega Man games, and I think she's done some music for Mighty No. 9, and also the guy who did Ninja Gaiden, Yamagishi. These guys, I was talking to them and I was like, did you actually have to compose using stuff like this? And they're like, yeah, it took forever. We had to type the numbers in one by one from the top to the bottom, and it's quite funny because now MIDI on a computer using Logic or Pro Tools or any of these tools like Cubase, so much easier these days. Anyway, bit of a random aside. So this is the top line that I'm listening to right now. So, well, actually, it would go all the way down. But I want it to even be a little bit more different. So we could change like the first note of each phrase, and maybe start at the top, and then also when it goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could also go up an octave. Or maybe not an octave. We could just go to da instead of da like this. So and we're just constantly changing it so that it's like an ode to the original Pokemon song, but not exactly the same. Let's see. Let's go from here. Maybe we could go up again instead. Great. I mean, it's already sounding quite a bit different, which is nice because we want to make it a little bit more unique. And we'll just change some of these notes as well. This is the second part of the phrase. And again, it's just a straight descending chromatic scale. I don't even know if they can copyright the rights to a descending chromatic scale, but just in case, let's be careful. So let's change that too, and change all of the first notes up an octave, shall we? That should be good. So let's hear what it sounds like all together. Brilliant. I mean, it really does. For anyone who hasn't heard the Pokemon sound recently, it'll sound to them like, hey, this is probably the legit Pokemon sound, and that's what you're going for when you're composing music. And I'm not really interested in starting composing tutorials. Well, actually, maybe I do. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do some composing tutorials in the future. But anyway, something I really love about doing YouTube as a channel, making my own videos, is also the ability to use skills that I've learned in other places. So I can use my own graphics, and I can use my own music, and you can use my own photography. Put all those things together, and then I guess I have to perform myself, but you can put all these things together, and that's something that's really fun about YouTube, and I'm sure that you guys already know, because if you make your own channels, it's probably the same for you. So I'm just gonna go and see if I can change the second part. I mean, we could change that so it's not quite so obvious, because the da 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 da, those 4 notes repeating, that basically is exactly straight from the Pokemon one. So why don't we change that so it's a little bit different? Instead of, we could change it a little bit to be, I've got it. Instead of da 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 da, we could go da 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 da, and it would be very, very similar. We can try it. How about this? Brilliant, brilliant. So again, it's because it's just 4 notes rotating around, but in a different order to the way that Nintendo, or rather, you know, Game Freak, or whoever it is that composed this, it is different enough that it's a parody and more of just a homage to the original Pokemon sound. And then just for the bass line, so that you can hear kind of what was going on, I've done it like this. And I'll just play the whole thing to you. That is basically, I haven't analyzed the original tune in depth, but that's what it sounds to me like it's doing. So let's just change it up again. We don't want it to be bup 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 exactly like it was in the original. So let's change it a little bit. So instead of how about instead of going ba 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 ba, we could have ba 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 ba, and again, it's still rising and still doing a very similar thing, but it's a completely different set of notes, a different melody completely. So let's try it. Doot doot doot. I'll just try and play it so you can hear it. So how about that? And let's see if we can get it to keep going up. So do 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 do. Let's hear what it sounds like all together. So much joy. There is very little that compares to thinking about something that you want and then putting it down on paper by yourself, without having to go to an external library to buy it, or to have to ask someone else to do it. I mean, who knows? You never know. Sometimes working with other people, you get a lot of extra, inspiration that you wouldn't have got if you had done it by yourself. So of course, sometimes working in a group is much better than doing it all by yourself. But there's just something that I love about YouTube, that, you know, I need a sound for this thing. I'm gonna get my Game Boy out, which is modified so it's got a, you know, this boosted light screen on it, so that I can, I don't know, write some music. I just wanted to share this composing with you, because I thought you might be interested to see it. And you know, I think I might actually do some composing tutorials. If you're interested, if you enjoyed this, do let me know and put it in the comments. Say what kind of things that you might want to hear, what kind of things you might want to see, what kind of things you might want me to cover, and I'll consider doing it. Of course, time permitting. I barely have enough time to make my own videos as it is, in addition to doing the tutorials for them as well, like how to make them. It will take a while, but I'm very interested in doing it in the future. Let me know if you're interested. Comment, like, subscribe, share the links and all that great stuff, and I will see you in the next NihongoGamer video. Alright, so it may sound a little silly, but I didn't like the bass line going do 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 do, so I've changed it to go do 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 do, like this, so here you can listen to it. So hopefully that will sound a little bit closer to the original bass line without being an exact copy. This is the device that I use to record. You'll know my Zoom H1 is it is actually exactly what it says, handy recorder. It's super handy, but only because it's small. It's not like it's the highest quality device in the world, and I'm using a pretty average quality cable to plug it into. But here's what's important. Because this is a modified Game Boy, it has a humless output. So basically the original Game Boy had an output here for headphones, but there's a weird electrical hum because of the resistor before the headphone output. But if you get it modified to have an output with no variable resistor, it comes out here, completely clean from the actual circuit, so there's no noise, and then you can actually use it for composition without having tons and tons of random noise that you don't actually compose. It's just there for no real reason. By the way, I completely forgot to mention that I have actually got a track that I've written. It was a parody, or rather a remix, of the Frozen song. What is it called? Let It Go? Sorry, I couldn't even remember what it's called. There is a parody of Let It Go from Frozen, which I wrote something like a year or two ago on this channel. I'll put the link in the cards, so do click on that if you're interested in hearing the sort of music that I've written with my Game Boy before. I really enjoy LSDJ. I'm not a master of LSDJ, but I really like using it for writing soundtracks. Anyway, if you want to hear that song, there should be a link for that there. Battle 2? Hello and welcome to a NihongoGamer video. I'm gonna go visit a shop later, which I think you're gonna be very interested in if you happen to like Pokemon Go. Pokemon Center! Let's go ahead and play a bit of Go. Alright, so here we have it. Pokemon Go in front of the Pokemon Center in Japan. I've just been told by the Pokemon Center to stop filming Pokemon Go.